In Africa, there is a country full of hope, Ethiopia. It is old and has no coast, but it still dreams of reaching the sea. Long ago, Ethiopia touched the Red Sea. Now, history and changing friendships keep it away from the water. Still, Ethiopia grows stronger. Its cities are busy, its people work hard, and its economy keeps moving forward. But one big question is everywhere. How far will Ethiopia go to find a way to the ocean? People are talking. Could Ethiopia trade its best companies, like airlines, phone networks, or banks, to open a door to the world? The risks are huge. This idea brings hope, worry, and debate, not just in Ethiopia, but across the Horn of Africa. Once, Ethiopia's empire stretched to the Red Sea. Bustling port cities like Massawa and Assab thrived with merchants, sailors, and the sounds of global trade. The sea was a gateway to the world, a source of pride and prosperity. But in 1993, with Eritrea's independence, Ethiopia was suddenly cut off from the coast. The loss was more than geographic. It was a national heartbreak, leaving Ethiopia the world's most populous landlocked nation. Today, over 90% of Ethiopia's trade flows through Djibouti. This dependence creates both economic vulnerability and a constant reminder of what was lost. Under Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, Ethiopia embarked on a major economic reform, a significant departure from decades of state-dominated development aimed at attracting foreign capital. Starting in 2018, the government began partial privatization of state monopolies, such as Ethiopian Airlines, Ethio Telecom, and others, while retaining majority ownership. A landmark moment came when Ethio Telecom conducted a public IPO, selling 10% of its shares to Ethiopian citizens. While a modest start, it was a clear signal that further steps toward privatization were on the horizon. Crucially, these reforms introduced a powerful new bargaining chip, that valuable stakes in these national giants could be leveraged as strategic tools in high-stakes diplomatic negotiations, particularly in its quest for sea access. Then, on January 1, 2024, a bombshell announcement sent shockwaves across the Horn of Africa. Ethiopia signed a landmark Memorandum of Understanding with the self-declared Republic of Somaliland. The proposed exchange was audacious. Ethiopia would gain a 50-year lease on a 20-kilometer strip of Red Sea coastline intended for a naval base and commercial port facilities. In return, Somaliland would receive something it has craved for decades: formal diplomatic recognition. Ethiopia also sweetened the deal with a potential stake in its highly successful state-owned enterprise, Ethiopian Airlines. The reaction from Mogadishu was swift and furious. Somalia branded the move a violation of its sovereignty and nullified the agreement. Tensions soared, but the proposal had already redefined regional diplomacy, proving that corporate assets could be powerful bargaining chips. By late 2024, negotiations shifted. Ethiopia and Somalia, with Turkey mediating, signed the Ankara Declaration, December 12, 2024. Ethiopia would pursue sea access via Somalia, respecting its territorial integrity. Formal recognition of Somaliland was dropped in favor of commercial arrangements for port access. This marked a strategic pivot, from a confrontational land-for-assets deal with Somaliland to a cooperative, commercially driven approach with Somalia. Ethiopia faces real constraints: public backlash if land is ceded, regional sovereignty complexities make land swaps very sensitive, AU norms uphold existing borders, but corporate assets offer flexibility, less public resistance, and can be structured as commercial investments rather than sovereignty exchanges. Moreover, the government still holds majority ownership, maintaining control. If Ethiopia gains stable sea access, whether via Djibouti, Somalia, or others, the impacts could be transformative. Economic, reduced trade costs, improved logistics; strategic, enhanced naval and logistical capabilities; geopolitical, shifting balances among Djibouti, Eritrea, Somalia, and Gulf states. Critics worry Ethiopia might erode economic sovereignty, yet analysts see this as part of Ethiopia's long-term strategic recalibration. So, what are Ethiopia's real options? Could it trade land, airline equity, or bank stakes for sea access? A direct land-for-sea swap seems politically improbable. touching raw nerves of national sovereignty for all parties involved. However, asset-based negotiations, leveraging crown jewels like Ethiopian Airlines or the burgeoning Ethio Telecom, remain a far more plausible path. These deals, if structured carefully to ensure mutual economic benefit, could finally unlock the coastline. As of early 2025, Addis Ababa is actively pursuing diplomatic and commercial routes, particularly through its controversial MOU with Somaliland. This pivot underscores a shift away from unilateral actions. Ethiopia's journey to the sea is far from over. It's a centuries-old ambition that remains a modern strategic necessity. What do you think? Should Ethiopia offer stakes in its national companies for sea access? Drop your thoughts below, hit like, subscribe and ring the bell for more deep dives on Horn of Africa geopolitics.